discuss on pulmonary stenosis with interarterial communications. So in 1769, this J.B. Morgagni described pulmonary stenosis with patent foramen ovale, and in 1848, the Thomas Peacock published an article on this. So this interarterial communication that can be formed by patent foramen ovale or ASD type, or less commonly ostium primum type, or sinus venosus atrial defect, or very least commonly it is found by anomalous pulmonary venous connections. सर ये स्लाइड शो में आ रहा है ना मेरे पास?
नहीं, तुम नहीं आ रहा।
कुछ नहीं होता, ऐसे भी ठीक है। स्लाइड से जा रहा है ठीक है, नहीं तो ऐसे भी ठीक है।
Okay, sir. The physiological consequences of pulmonary stenosis with interarterial communication depends on the degree of obstruction to the right ventricular outflow and the size of interarterial communication. The patient with pulmonary stenosis and right to left interarterial shunt almost always have a severely stenotic pulmonary wall and a patent foramen ovale. And patients with pulmonary stenosis with a left to right interarterial shunt almost and always have a mild to moderate pulmonary wall stenosis with non-restrictive ostium secundum type of ASD. Severe pulmonary stenosis with right ventricular hypertrophy results in an increase in force of right atrial contraction that generates a presystolic right to left interarterial shunt, and high right atrial pressure stretches the margin of foramen ovale and increases its patency. When right atrial blood escapes through interarterial communication, it results in into the pulmonary flow. It results that pulmonary flow falls reciprocally, and a non-restrictive ASD with a large left to right shunt and mild to moderate pulmonary wall stenosis that clinically resembles an isolated atrial septal defect. Severe pulmonary stenosis with right to left shunt across a patent foramen ovale is clinically analogous to isolated severe PS, except that here the child can present with cyanosis at the birth, or this cyanosis can develop in later on in childhood, at puberty, or in young adulthood as well. And this infants usually come to attention because of a murmur. Although in neonates, with severe PS, this murmur is very soft and very difficult to hear. Symptoms can be appreciable even when cyanosis is mild, because right ventricular pressure can exceed systemic pressures before the right to left shunt is established. Patient can present with the giddiness, lightheadedness, and syncopes when it is provoked by exertion, and we will appreciate a large A wave on donor venous pulsation, and that can be even seen on the mirror by the patient himself at the time of after efforts or at the time of excitement. Chest pain that resembles angina pectoris is attributed to the ischemia in high pressures of the hypertrophied right ventricle, and death is usually from right ventricular failure, and less commonly from hypoxia, cerebral abscess, or infected endocarditis. Mild to moderate pulmonary stenosis with non-restrictive ASD clinically resembles isolated non-restrictive OSD, ostium secundum type of ASD, except there is conspicuous murmur of pulmonary stenosis, and relatively asymptomatic survival of till the 6th to 7th decades is not an uncommon presentation. Now we talk about the physical appearance. Retarded growth and development are the consequences of right ventricular failure that begins in infancy and early childhood. Cyanosis associated with pulmonary stenosis with a patent foramen ovale can be obvious and evident only during exercise. Mild and intermittent right to left shunt are sometimes manifested by highly colored cheeks and distinctive erythema of the fingertips and toes. Central cyanosis of right to left shunt must be distinguished from peripheral cyanosis of diminished skin blood flow caused by low cardiac output and severe PS. The central peripheral cyanosis will be accompanied by cold hands and feet and tend to be more pronounced in the lower extremities. And when the skin blood flow is improved by warmth, the central cyanosis diminishes or may vanish, but peripheral cyanosis may disappear, but central cyanosis may remain same or become more evident. This is how we differentiate. How we will differentiate peripheral
Physical
cyanosis.
examination, na, when
Yes.
it's a good. This question, this is a good answer when most of the examiner will ask how will you differentiate peripheral from central cyanosis. Then you
Yes,
must
sir.
know the reason here. It is more evident in lower limbs because obviously in adults it has got more bigger channel to transverse, no? So it gets easily manifested in lower limbs. Secondly, the other important factor is whenever you are examining a PS baby, the most important association in physical examination is of syndrome of Noonan's. You must be, well, Noonan is a common association, no? One must
Yes, sir.
know what the features of Noonan's is written. No?
Distinct appearance of Noonan syndrome, sir. Last time
What are the
we'll
features of Noonan syndrome?
Noonan syndrome will the stunting growth with low hairlines, anterior posterior hairlines, low set of the ears, hypoplastic.
Anybody else? No? I think we have discussed it in previous chapter also somewhere. So, what are the features of Noonan syndrome? अगर PS का patient होगा, PS का patient is a good exam case, no? Invariably मिल ही जाता है और examic रख भी देते हैं क्योंकि generally stable होता है. So, what are the features of Noonan syndrome?
Short
White
So
stature,
the easy way to remember is it is a
developmental
male
delay.
Turner. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
yes, sir. Like a Turner, short stature, web neck, low set
Yeah.
of ear.
So short stature, webbed neck,
Peripheral
shield
PS.
Yeah,
chest.
absolutely.
Nose.
Very good. In fact, I was also going to say same thing. You remember if it is a Turner, if it is a male, Turner can never be male. You know, features of Turner syndrome are there: short stature, webbed neck, then hypertelorism. Then you all start thinking of Noonan's.
Yes.
And what are the characteristic congenital heart defects in Noonan syndrome? Most important two.
Yes, sir.
PS. Peripheral PS.
So peripheral pulmonary stenosis one and second.
HOCM. Yes.
HCM, sir.
HOCM. नहीं.
नहीं. चलो पढ़ के बताना.
What you are saying, HOCM is also Noonan's has got a typical hypertrophy ventricle. Whenever you find a ventricle hypertrophy which is out of proportion, that is in that particular case also you want to rule out a Noonan syndrome. That is why if you want this, what you are saying no is actually other way. HOCM अगर right sided hypertrophy मिलती है ventricles की ना biventricular hypertrophy मिल रही होती है किसी केस में, that means normally you LVH में तो you start thinking of HOCM and all this cases. It's a biventricular hypertrophy. After diabetes, the other condition which you want to rule out is Noonan's. Diabetes is the commonest in early newborn and early infancy. But after diabetes, the second most commonest condition you want to rule out for a biventricular hypertrophy is Noonan's. I'm emphasizing right-sided hypertrophy ज़्यादा common होती है with the Noonan's.
On physical examination, we'll see arterial pulse will be.
Okay, continue. No?
Yes, sir. Jugular venous pulse when pulmonary stenosis coexists.
AVP is important. No?
Yes, sir. When pulmonary coexists with non-restrictive ASD. The hypertrophied RV is less distensible, so RA contracts with greater force and A wave will be prominent. The contour and height of the jugular pulse are determined by the presence and the degree of pulmonary stenosis, not by atrial defect. When pulmonary stenosis
Yeah.
is
Any case of pulmonary stenosis, if there is an associated ASD also, normally RA pressure is 0 to 5. The LA pressure is 3 to 8. LA pressure is always higher than the RA pressure in normal circumstances. That is why ASD shunt is always left to right. But what happens in case of pulmonary stenosis, because of the hypertrophied RV, the atria tends to dilate and RA pressures are always high. What I mean to say is, if you are getting a patient of right to left shunt, that means if the patient is blue, in that particular case, you will always have a wave in M. You cannot defend by saying that ASD बढ़ा है इसलिए मुझे A wave नहीं मिलेगा. नहीं. अगर right to left shunt है ASD में, if the patient is blue, if a case of PS pulmonary stenosis is blue, और PS का blue तभी होगा जब ASD right to left होगा. If a patient of severe pulmonary stenosis is blue, then he will always have a prominent A wave in the JVP.
if PS is severe enough to reverse the shunt, then A wave is large and even giant. With the advent of right ventricle failure, the mean jugular pulse pressure rises, and with it the V wave also become prominent, especially when TR is coexisting. Like here, the tracing from the cyanotic woman that underwent surgical repair at the 58 years of age for severe mobile pulmonary stenosis with gradient of 120 millimeter of mercury with reversed shunt through patent from an oil. There is large A waves that appears in the right atrium. These are large A waves, and this right atrial phonogram showing the holocystic systolic murmur throughout the systole. This signifies the TR. On the precordial examination, the pulmonary stenosis with right to left intra-atrial shunt, it is associated with the precordial palpation that is similar to isolated pulmonary stenosis. And in non-restrictive ASD with mild to moderate PS, all the precordial signs will get of the isolated ASD of similar size of the ASD, and except the systolic thrill of the coexisting pulmonary wall stenosis that we will not get in the isolated BSD.
Will there be a parasternal heave or no parasternal heave?
We'll get parasternal heave. We'll get
case of severe pulmonary stenosis.
Yes, sir. In this case, isolated pulmonary stenosis, we'll get RV apex and RV type, RV impulse. Sir. When the parasternal heave, we will get. Sir. Am I right, sir?
So, at the end of this, we discuss auscultation also. After auscultation, you will have to summarize that what will be the condition. How will you say that this particular patient is having predominantly ASD or predominantly PS? And is it a pathological PS or is it a flow-related functional PS after examination? In a case of ASD, how will you say whether it's having pathological PS or a flow-related PS? You complete auscultation and then you summarize. Okay.
Okay. It is the same. We'll get holosystolic murmur. That's it is a case of 5-month-old cyanotic female with severely mobile PS and right to left shunt across the patent foramen oval, and here we are getting S4 due to right ventricle hypertrophy, and a long systolic murmur that goes up to A2, and a long and a wide split of the S2 with soft P2, showing the severe systolic pulmonary stenosis. And on ECG, we'll getting the tall peak P wave. Auscultation with severe PS with right to left intra-atrial shunt. The sign that will be sign will be analogous to isolated PS. And here the systolic murmur is maximal in the second intercostal space, radiates upwards and to the left, and extends up to A2 or beyond A2 component of the S2, which can be obscured, and it has a late systolic peak that form the kite-shaped configuration of the murmurs. In neonates with critical pulmonary wall stenosis and RV failure, the murmur is short and soft, and P2 is delayed. That can be soft as well as absent. The most prominent auscultative sign in the neonates, there will be hollow systolic TR murmur, and pre-systolic distension of the right ventricle is accompanied by S4. That can be occasionally enough to qualify as a murmur. And a short pre-systolic murmur is also generated when powerful right atrial contraction forces blood across the restrictive PF. This large atrial A wave that is transmitted to RV can exceed the diastolic pressure in the main pulmonary artery, that can open the pulmonary valve and generate pre-systolic flow and murmur. So this is all about the severe stenosis with PFO. When the case is non-restrictive ASD associated with mild to moderate PS, it will be signs will be same as of isolated non-restrictive ostium secundum type of ASD. But we will get then ejection sound that is generated by mobile stenotic pulmonary wall, and we'll get pulmonary systolic murmur that will be long and loud, and S2 will be more widely split because of greater delay in the pulmonary component. More severe the PS, the later and softer P2 component of the S2 will get here. These three are the differences between the isolated OS ASD and here in case of non-restrictive ASD with mild to moderate PS.
Okay. Now can you summarize? Suppose you are examining a case of ASD. By your full examination, by your including your recordial examination, including your JVP, including your all the clinical examination, physical examination, how will you arrive at the situation? This is a pathological PS and associated with ASD. Matlab PS needs to be tackled by examination. Can you summarize? एक ASD का केस आप प्रेजेंट कर रहे हो, उसमें इजेक्शन सिस्टोलिक मर्मर बहुत अच्छी मिल रही है. एग्जामिनर आपसे पूछेगा, which is a very common question, कि डॉक्टर साहब, is it pathological PS as per your examination or is it a flow related PS of ASD? How will you differentiate?
Flow related PS will not get thrill. When we'll get thrill in the left second.
You need to say a thrill. Generally thrill may not नहीं होता, generally not होता है. Okay, can get, but generally thrill is more common with pathological. Okay, what else? What else?
So this is a very GK kind of question. How will you differentiate a ejection systolic murmur of a flow or a organic ejection systolic murmur?
ये बहुत कॉमन क्वेश्चन होता है, क्योंकि ASD में भी फ्लो रिलेटेड मर्मर मिलती है. आपको ASD का केस जैसे ही आप प्रेजेंट करोगे, ये क्वेश्चन इनवेरिएबली पूछेगा कि डॉक्टर साहब, ये पैथोलॉजिकल पीएस है, इसको टैकल करना है कि नहीं करना है, और इज इट अ फ्लो रिलेटेड पीएस? One is presence of.
So you have.
Okay. What else?
Yes.
What else? जल्दी बताओ, बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स हैं. चलो anybody else can also take. और क्या point है? Till के बाद क्या?
सर रिजेक्शन क्लिक
रिजेक्शन क्लिक यस
Auscultation पे आ गए, अभी तो palpation ही खत्म नहीं हुआ.
अच्छा कैलकुलेशन
Palpation पे आपको thrill मिल रही है. What else?
RV impulsor will get RV type of effects.
RV impulse, presence of
So RV impulse of which
parasternal.
kind?
मतलब प्रेशर ओवरलोड
ASD में
Pressure
also you will
overload.
get a parasternal impulse.
RV pressure overload के features मिलने लग जाएंगे ना PS में.
Yes.
So you will
yes.
get a RV
Parasternal
impulse
heave.
तो दोनों में मिलेगा, as Mohit is saying. Volume overload भी मिलेगा. Here you will get what?
सस्टेन्ड और
Sustained
Parasternal
heave. It will be a parasternal heave, not an impulse. Now, impulse, when you want to say, you want to communicate a volume overload. When you say heave, which is grade 2 or 3, that is definitely a RV. Okay, what else?
सर एपेक्स
A wave in JVP. Suggestive, not suggestive.
Suggestive, sir.
of PS
Presence of A wave is more commonly seen in PS when the hypertrophy sets in. Okay. Okay, what else? JV or what else?
RV type of effects.
in
RV apex हो गया, palpation में parasternal heave हो गया, thrill हो गया, auscultation में
TR murmur.
presence of click. 3 points he has already said no. Presence of click, a murmur which is definitely exaggerated. No, all the murmurs get exaggerated. They are generally
Late
longer
peaking
murmur,
murmur.
but it is very difficult to say. There are always late peaking. Late peaking murmurs are generally pathological, and the second art sound because becomes further soft. जितना component prominent होगा उतना soft होती जाएगी. But click is very मतलब click has to be spoken. Click भी अगर valuable होगा तो click भी मिलेगा. So these are the points which should enlist somewhere क्योंकि ये question पूछा ही जाएगा. Pathological versus anything else.
ठीक है सर
That RV dysfunction is set in a case of pulmonary stenosis. By your examination, what features will tell you that the patient is now going in RV dysfunction? Clinical examination. The case of severe pulmonary stenosis going into ventricular dysfunction, RV dysfunction. Features.
S4 we will get, sir.
RJ wave.
या सीधा auscultation पे चले जाते हो.
अरे पहले
A wave. A
Exam-
wave more prominent.
जनरल फिजिकल
Examination,
एग्जामिनेशन
D
बताओ.
wave.
JVP
Firstly,
A waves तो PS का फीचर है ना, atrial kick का फीचर है, hypertrophy का फीचर है. Failure का क्या फीचर है?
B wave. B wave. Try TR.
So V wave signifies that TR has sets in. The presence of V wave has started in. The mean JVP goes up. Secondary features come in. No, और क्या आएंगे? अगर failure में जा रहा है तो और
Sweat.
क्या आएंगे?
स्वेलिंग एनएसआर का हेपेटोमेगाली एसाइटिस
Generalize जैसे you always start from
Ulcer
patient will
liver.
having swelling lower limbs, hepatomegaly, NSARCA. On auscultation, V wave will start appearing. A wave will already present in this. So and what else?
पल्सेटाइल लिवर आएगा सर और
वो हो गया ना बैक प्रेशर. Now we come to parasternal cardiac examination. Cardiac examination में क्या क्या मिलेगा?
TR murmur and RV apex.
So a holosystolic murmur which you will appear बस S1, S2, S3, S4 की तो बात करोगे ना, फिर murmur की बात करोगे. उसी ऑर्डर में बोलना है ना डॉक्टर. फेलियर हो गया तो क्या होगा?
S1,
S3 अपीयर हो जाएगा ना.
S3, S.
तो पहले आरवी एस4 मिल रहा था, अब आरवी एस3 मिलेगा.
अब RV S3 becomes prominent.
एंड देयर विल बी कार्डियोमेगाली, मोर कार्डियोमेगाली, मतलब आरवी और इधर-उधर चला जाएगा.
On examination, you will have a cardiomegaly, you
Murmur
will have a
softer हो
RV
जाएगा.
apex, you will have a S3, and then you will have a ejection with systolic murmur, which will its intensity will not be as high because RV is
Yes.
failing. It will never be able to eject. So if you are having a very late ejection peak systolic murmur, that means RV is very good. If you are having a ejection mixed systolic murmur which is not peaking, but you are having ejection murmur with a holosystolic murmur, then you start thinking that probably this RV is failing.
Even the TR murmur also becomes soft.
And when the everything is failing and in terminally, first तो एग्जाम में होएगा उसका टीआर मर्मर सॉफ्ट नहीं होगा प्रैक्टिकली, बट जब वो भी फेल हो जाता है टीआर भी, then RV ejection is totally gone. Then RV is so bad that it cannot even inject into the low pressure atrial circuit. Na? then even the TR murmurs become so very soft. तो एंटीग्रेड मर्मर डिक्रीज करेगा, टीआर का मर्मर बढ़ेगा, सब्सिक्वेंटली टीआर का मर्मर भी सॉफ्ट होना शुरू हो जाएगा. ओके, एनीथिंग एल्स? अच्छा, ये फोनोग्राम.
This phonogram from the 23-year-old man with right to left shunt with OSCSD and 45 millimeter of mercury of gradient with mobile stenotic pulmonary wall. Here the S1 is normal and there is hollow systolic murmur with the picking in the mid systole, and it goes up to even crossing the A2. And here P2 is delayed and soft. And this again, this phonogram from the 6-year-old girl with left to right shunt with OSASD and mobile stenotic pulmonary wall with gradient of 25. Here S1 is prominent. We are getting crescendo decrescendo type of murmur with the mid systolic peak, and it's ends before A2, and second heart sound is wide split is there with soft P2.
ऑडियो की प्रॉब्लम सिर्फ मेरे इसमें है कि सबको ऑडियो की प्रॉब्लम हो रही है?
यहाँ तो ठीक है सर.
क्लियर है सर मुझे.
Clear है.
मेरे इसमें. ओके, कंटिन्यू.
And these are the phonograms from the second left intercostal space for the 4 patients. The this A is showing isolated ASD. Here isolated ASD with the left to right shunt. There is soft systolic murmur. The soft systolic murmur ends before the A2 component of S2. This B here this is the case of the ASD with left to right shunt with pulmonary stenosis of gradient of 25 millimeter of mercury. Here S1 is loud and crescendo decrescendo type of murmur with the mid systolic peak, and it's touching the aortic component of A2, and there is a wide split of the heart, second heart sound, and P2 component is loud. The case C, it is the case of ASD with left right shunt with the pulmonary stenosis with gradient of 15 millimeter of mercury. Here the loud long systolic murmur extending beyond aortic component. This A2 is merging in the murmur. The pulmonary component is soft and it's coming more later. And this is the case D. There is severe pulmonary stenosis, gradient of around 110 millimeter of mercury with right to left shunt through the foramen ovale. Here the kite-shaped systolic murmur we can appreciate that envelopes the aortic component of second heart sound. And this P2 component is so much delayed, very much delayed, and it's very soft. Now on ECG findings, the pulmonary wall stenosis with right to left intra-arterial shunt, the findings are similar to isolated PS. We can get peaked right atrial P wave that appears in lead 2 and in right precordial leads as well. Occasionally with we can get tall P wave in lead 2 with prolongation.